Carrie Adcock, and I'm here today. This is our very first interview for Going Beyond the Numbers. I'm so excited for everybody who is joining us, and I am honored to have Lou Freyer here to really kick off this interview series. So, who am I? I am a sustained success coach and mentor, and I really focus in going beyond the numbers. So really quick, what is going beyond the numbers? It's an attitude, it's a framework to take success beyond what's imagined. So I am so excited to speak with Lou today, Lou Freyer, about the subject of restorative justice. So we had a conversation this weekend, and first of all, I didn't know it existed. And second of all, it really takes conventional ways that we do things today and turns it on its head. And so, Lou, welcome.
Well, thank you, Carrie.
You're welcome. And if you would like to introduce yourself, that would be great. Tell everybody who you are.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to be here. Oh, it's to start off something new. Yeah, my name's Lou Freyer. I am currently retired, but I've worked for 40 years as a counselor, a therapist, psychologist in a number of settings, prisons, drug rehabs, inpatient, outpatient. My primary focus of my career was working with elementary age school students in a school district and their families and teachers. And so I did that outside of Philadelphia in Bucks County, Pennsylvania. And I'm now retired, living in Williamsburg, but continue to volunteer and serve in any way I can. And I'm excited today to talk about restorative justice, which has been one of my favorite things to do in my profession and just has come back into my life in an unexpected way. So this is really cool to be able to share it with all of you. So thank you, Carrie. I'm happy to be here.
Yay, awesome.
Yeah.
So, I Googled, because Google is everything.
Right.
Tells me a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I Googled restorative justice, and it said, I'm going to read it. It said, a system of criminal justice that focuses on rehabilitation of offenders through reconciliation with the victims and the community at large. Mm-hmm. So does that say it in a nutshell, or I'd love for you to define it, what it means to you?
That does say it in a nutshell, although it's actually more than that. It's the belief that people can learn from their behaviors, and it's a way to separate the deed from the doer, is the way we say it in restorative justice. That someone has caused harm, but there is a way to restore the community. And it's been in the United States since about 1994, came from Australia, where the juvenile justice system was using this after they learned it from Maori tribesmen in New Zealand. And their focus of the tribe was that every member of the tribe is vital to their success. It's kind of like, you hear that saying, it takes a village to raise a child. Yes. Well, it's like saying it takes every child to make our village. And realizing that when someone did something harmful to the community would come together and bring that person into the circle and say, here's what you did, here's who was affected, here's how they were affected, and how can we correct it to bring you back into our community. You are valuable to us. The deed you did was unacceptable. And it's such a different approach from our way of dealing with something like that, which is you have violated the system. You've broken a law, and we have our response is on a one-line continuum. It's a continuum from being punitive on one side or permissive on the other. And somewhere in there we'll find the appropriate punishment for you. And
you
well, go ahead. I see a question bubbling.
No, you just made a really good point. It's almost like it's like our justice system today is a little
Yes.
bit of an attitude shift from this communal idea, this
Mm-hmm.
collaborative idea that, everybody serves a purpose in this community. And when one person kind of goes off the rails,
Right.
it's everyone's responsibility, including that person, to bring it back into balance. Where what keyed me was you just said, in the justice, the way we do it today, that person who went off the rails, they're responsible to this system, right? To the law.
Right.
And there's no human
Exactly. And that's exactly what got me interested in the beginning, because I would go into courts several times as basically as a character witness, either for the offender, or sometimes they allow a victim's impact statement. That the victim gets to say something. But what I realized watching in the courts was, most times, neither the offender or the victim says anything. It's the judge, the lawyers, the police, the whole system does all the talking, decides on a punishment, hands it out, and that's that. Mm. And our punishment, and unfortunately to me, in our society, it has gone way down this road. Our punishment is to exclude that person. We put them in jail. We separate them from the community, and we make them bad and a criminal. We hang a label on them that says criminal, which is almost impossible to get rid of. Same way working in schools, if a child made an offense, and if it was a serious offense, the result was expulsion from the school. Let's get you out, or we'll suspend you for a number of days and get you out. Well, now when that child comes back, that's the label that's hung on them. So, and it goes back again to that system of justice, or dealing with an offense, only has one dimension, which is how, either do nothing would be one extreme, kind of say, or punish and make it severe on the other. So the only decision that we have in dealing with someone is, how much punishment am I going to give you?
Yeah.
Period. The restorative justice adds another dimension to it. So if you were to think like a line going up and down that says control or limits, like from 0 to many on one side, and another line that says no support to encouragement on the other, now you have like different responses. So
I love that. So you're looking at the limit, or is this more of, what the consequence is? Is that what you're talking about?
Exactly. It's like saying there are limits.
Yeah.
We need to live together.
Yeah.
So there are responsible ways to behave. There are irresponsible ways to behave.
Got it. The other side. I want to envision my mind.
I have a picture here somewhere. Can I hold it up?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Here we go.
Okay.
Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you see it goes from, I'm trying to do this on the camera. So
okay.
Over here is like, if there was no limit setting, no control, and no encouragement or support for the person, that's called neglect. We don't do anything.
Right.
If we have lots and lots of support but set no limits, that's called being permissive. You're it's okay. It doesn't matter, honey.
Yeah.
No response to the wrong. If we have no support, but high limits, that's where we are in our justice system. We punish.
Got it.
Okay.
So I love here. I'd like
Yeah.
to see your face now too. Okay. That's
Yeah.
awesome. No,
Yeah.
but I love that you have
Right.
at the top, you're at the top, and it's just a little bit of shift to get to restorative. And what's changing is encouragement.
Exactly.
You
So
know,
it's like,
something.
yeah, it's like there's something else we can do. It's like if I can, yes, there are limits, and basically we love you. So, another way to think of this is, you can either, if you're permissive, you are doing something for the other person. You're fine. Okay.
Yeah.
If you're punitive, you're doing something to the other person. Okay. I'm going to punish you. You're going to learn your lesson. We're going to remove you from our, we don't want to deal with you. If you're neglectful, you're not doing anything. Not helping at all. But in in that last corner where there's high limits and high support and encouragement, we're going to do something with you. We're going to do this together.
Okay, so let's stick to that top box.
Yes, yeah.
Top right box. So when you say high limits, do you mean that they allow more, or that they hold these people to a higher standard?
We have a high standard. There are expectations for your behavior. So there's a high degree, in sort of theoretical terms, there's a high degree of social control. Our community has standards. We have expectations.
Got it.
Okay. And so, you when you go against those standards, someone gets harmed by your behavior.
That you touch on this idea that it's one of the main concepts for going beyond the numbers, but it's really the idea of personal responsibility.
Exactly.
There's so many ways. I don't know that as a society today, and this is my own personal opinion, as a society today that we take a lot of personal responsibility. So I'd love to hear, I know you've worked with the restorative. I'd love to hear an example of, a real life example of how this works.
Okay. Well, I'll give you one. I was a counselor in an elementary school. Our school was set up, it went actually up to middle school students. So up to sixth graders. So here's a situation. Here's what happened. The sixth grade students are in choir practice, right? So they're up on those risers. We've all been to elementary school things. We know what that looks like, right? There's a girl who's a student there who was pretty profoundly hearing impaired. She could get by with hearing aids. Her speech was difficult for her. She at times would be a target for teasing from other students. So she was in the second to the last row in this practice. Behind her was this boy who, well known to me because he skated along the edge a lot. Anyway, he thought it would be funny with his friends who were standing around him to put his hands together, one in front of the other, like fists in his crotch, and start poking this girl from behind and touching her in her buttocks area. Thought this would be funny. Well, her friends noticed. Big uproar back there. Choir, the choir director stopped practice, hauled him out, dragged him into the principal, who was going to flip out on him because he also well known to the principal. And then we had just begun to use some restorative justice principles within the school. And he called me in and said, I'm ready to send this kid home for like 2 weeks. Expel him up before the school board. It'll be on his record forever. Is this a chance where we could use restorative justice instead? Perfect. This is perfect. So the way that is something it's a formal conference. And I'll get back to how you can do this more informally. But so I do some preparation, which is to talk to this boy and his mother and say, you have an option. You can take the normal punishment, which is going to be suspension from school, on your record. It's going to take you a long time to live that down. Or we can go through this process. And what's going to happen in the process is I'm going to invite every single person in the school who's been affected by your behavior to sit in a circle. You are going to tell them what happened, what you were thinking when it happened, who you think were affected, and how you think they were affected. And then you're going to sit and listen to what everybody else's experience was. So he agreed.
Wow.
Okay.
So in this example, the community really is all those affected.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah.
So I also talked with the girl and her parents and said, you have a chance to do this. You do not have to. We can just go ahead and suspend this kid. Or you will have a chance to talk about how you were affected. I will be in charge. And if I see anything that looks like you're going to be re-victimized, I will stop it and I can end the conference and we'll go right back to suspension. And they agreed. So
what a blessing. As you talk about that, I mean, I've had experiences in my life where everything just kind of gets pushed under the rug, and not only for the person who did the act that started the whole thing,
right,
especially for the person who it was done to. There's the ability to actually speak out is
yes,
what a gift.
right. And so they all agreed, the principal agreed. So we end up, we set up this conference. We're sitting in a circle, and it goes like, next to me is the boy on one side and the girl on the other, and then it goes around. His mother, he was being raised by a single mother. His friends, it's important that he gets support invited into the circle. His teacher, the choir director, the principal, the secretary, because she got involved when he was dragged into the office, had to stop her work. His teacher, I think I said, her friends, the victim's friends, her parents, her and me. And the way it starts is I say to him, what did you do? What were you thinking? Who do you think was affected? Well, already he's seen a lot more people than he thought were affected. Okay. Yeah. And the best he could come up with was, I thought it would be funny, with sort of like that bravado. It was just funny. My friends laughed. Yeah. Okay. Then we start going around the circle. She talks about, and one of the reasons why this one sticks out in my mind is that she had difficulty talking. So we had to wait while she got out through her upset and her feelings and her tears, how scared she was, how embarrassed she was, how worried she was that she had to deal with this in her life. Her friends talked about how upset they were, how angry they were at him. They were all in the same class. They had to live with him every day. Her mom talked about getting that phone call from school about what had happened and how upset and angry she was, got to her dad, also profoundly hearing impaired, difficulty speaking. And that's where things started to change, because he wanted to come out of that chair and rip that boy's head off.
Yeah.
And he was very angry, and he expressed that. Again, it was very difficult for him to speak, and we just waited and let him get it out. And then he eventually said, and I realized then that you're only 12.
Wow.
Me tearing your head off is not going to teach you anything. Then we go to the principal. I had to stop what I was doing to deal with you again. The teacher being embarrassed. How could one of her students behave like this? The choir teacher saying I had to interrupt my practice, disrupt everything. Now we're behind. We're going to have to all have extra time to practice. Maybe the show won't be as good as it was. How angry he was and hurt. The boy's friends. That really wasn't funny.
Wow.
You're my friend, and I might have laughed because I didn't know what else to do, but it really wasn't funny. And then his mom, who was a single parent, who's been crying all along. And she tells the story of being sexually assaulted in high school.
Oh, wow.
And not being able to believe that her son could behave to someone in that way. So, that took quite a while to get all around that. And the reaction in the room is very much the reaction I'm seeing on your face at that point.
Well, I can I just pause here for a second?
Yeah, sure.
I just want to acknowledge, because I'm a crier, so
Yeah.
and that's not the point. The point is to love this kid enough for everybody to show up. And you had said in the beginning, it's not the separating the doer from the doing. And
Yes.
and where where my tears come from are appreciation in all of those people that got to express what, if they hadn't, they'd be carrying it around for another time.
Exactly. And the thing that happens in this process, the child who's sitting next to me that did this, who started like this, I was funny, has been melting step by step by step by step, feeling, not just thinking or hearing, feeling what has happened. And in the theory of restorative justice, that's called corrective shame. It's not the shame that says you're bad, we don't want to see you, or that we carry around and hold against ourselves. It's like the uh-oh, I've done something wrong and people know. And if I can feel that and then have something to do, then I learn. So that's only the beginning.
Yeah.
Because then it's like, okay, what do you think? What are you thinking now? To the child, say, oh my God, I had no idea. But now we go around the circle again and we say, start with the girl. What can he do to make this better? What do you need?
Wow.
I need him to say, I'm sorry, and to never do it again. Mom, what do you need? Dad, what do you need? Principal, what do you need? What can he do? Choir director, what do you need? Mom, what do you need? Friends, what do you need? What can he do to make this better? And myself as a facilitator, I'm just writing this stuff down. Because the ultimate goal is to have a contract. Okay? So come to that boy and say, here's what people have asked for from you. And for the principal, for example, it was, well, I won't suspend you However, you're going to spend your recess time working at this. The choir director saying, I want you to come help me after school to clean up in my office and organize for this performance we're going to do. Get the papers together. Help me with that. Okay? And asking that child, can you do that? Can you do that? Can you do that? Oh, and then he gets a chance to say yes or no. I mean, he can always say, you know what? Suspend me. That would be easier. You know.
That's interesting. I'm glad you said that, because it really is he's got to be willing to go through
Right.
this process.
Yeah, and we're back to that. We're going to do this with you, not to you.
Yeah.
You're part of it. So he agrees to things. And if you notice, most often what people present is some way to come back into the community and serve. Do something. Okay? So already you're drawing them back in. So the way that formal conference ends then is myself as the facilitator, I say, okay, I'm going to go write down this contract. We're all going to sign it. It's an agreement. And while I'm typing this up over there in my office, there's some snacks over there. Have some snacks. I'll be right back. And people break bread together and start to talk. And, like in that situation, the parents of the boy got to know the mother of or the parents of the girl got to know the mother of the boy. They were talking. The teacher was talking. The kids were back talking and laughing, having some cookies. And I come in with the contract. We all sign, and he follows through. So that's, that process. I know it's a long time to tell that story, but that's like the most formal kind of process. The basic thing is, what did you do? What were you thinking? Who do you think was affected? Now listen. And giving the other, you can do that with two people in the moment. You can do that with your child when they were supposed to be in at 4 and they come in at 7. And you can say that same conversation. What did you do? What were you thinking? Who do you think was affected? And how are they affected? Now listen.
I'm going to tell you right now, I am going to take action on this puppy. I am doing it. I am so excited. It's like, I mean, you're absolutely right. And this, I mean, what a concept, and as you talked about that, you're actually empowering this kid who thought something was funny to actually make it okay,
Yes, and to learn.
Going and sitting at home for 2 weeks saying, you're bad, get out, get away from me, and then come back and try again.
And that keeps the cycle going. Because when he's sitting at home for 2 weeks, he's not looking at himself. He's looking at that stupid school, that stupid principal, that stupid system, and now he's set up. It's that kind of punishment is retribution. We're going to punish you, and it sets up a cycle of I'm going to get you back.
And I can, I mean, the other thing is, I can speak from my own experience. I might not even have the tools to make it okay. Like nobody's taught me how to make it okay.
Right.
So to have direction of this is how you can make it okay.
Yeah, to teach that language. That part of making it okay is that you have to actually be open to listening to other people and feeling what you've done. That the emotional piece is so important. That's why that thing of being permissive doesn't work. I remember in elementary school, another simple application of this is we these are kids 5, 6, 7, 8. Had to teach them a script for how to apologize. Okay, here's what I did. Here's what I'm thinking. I think this is how you were affected. I'm sorry. But the other half of that was teaching the other child to not say, oh, that's okay.
Oh.
I forgive you. That's okay. But teaching them, you know what? I forgive you, and what you did isn't okay.
Mm.
Here's what I went through when you did that. I mean, it could be the simplest thing. Some kid takes the other kid's snack at snack time.
Yeah.
I hear that you're sorry. It's not okay. That's the high social control part.
And what I hear is you're not saying you're not okay. You're
Right.
saying it's not okay.
It's not okay. You're fine. I want to, little kids, I want to be your friend, but you know what? Don't do that anymore. And so that part was important to teach them too. Because, somebody comes and says, oh, I'm sorry. And we say, that's okay.
Oh, yeah, it's fine.
And it's not.
I'm really pissed off, but it's fine.
But it's fine. Yeah.
So it's going to come out sideways later.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm fine.
Just wait. I'm fine.
You know what? Lou, I got to be honest because it's who I am and I'm pretty transparent. That listening exercise, I'm going to write it down when I listen to this again. Because it's useful.
It is. It's very useful. And, as I understand your beyond the number things, it's a perfect thing to that because the restorative practice, again, there's nothing new, but we lost it. I know the man who brought it over from Australia, again, it came through the tribes. The first conference he had up in Pennsylvania about this, people from Native American tribes came to present because this is how they did their justice.
Mm.
We need you, but you can't be like that. Yeah. And here's how you can make it better. And
so that community can be the family in your own home.
Yeah, any two people, any classroom, any family, any workplace. This has been applied a lot in workplaces. And actually that was, for me personally, just recently, what got me back engaged and connected again with an organization here in Virginia that I hope to be volunteering with that uses restorative practices, mm-hmm. was all this uproar about, the Me Too movement and sexual harassment. And it's like, I would get angry and it's like, that's not right. And then it just hit me. That story that I just told you came rushing back. And it was like, oh, here's the answer to that. It's not easy. It's not easy. Setting that up, the preparation, what people go through, not easy, but it works.
Absolutely. And it takes time, yeah. And I mean, I know our lives today are, mm-hmm. hits and we got to go and we got to do. And
right.
It's, to be able to stop the cycle.
Yeah.
And to have tools to do so.
To do so. And to teach people that what they do has wide effect.
Absolutely.
On their community. But anyway, it's like, from the beyond the numbers thing, it's taking that one dimension of punish or not punish and how much, and adding something brand new to it, and pow, the solution, practically jumks out. So it's awesome. It's very cool.
It's very awesome. Cool. I like I said, I am going to listen to this again because there's a lot in there, and it applies to my own life. I can go make this happen in my own life. And I invite everyone out there to see how it applies in your own life and how we can be personally responsible and hold others personally responsible in inclusion instead of, oh, I don't like that. Just,
Yeah.
let's just set it over to the side, because we keep doing that and
Mm-hmm.
nothing.
Yeah.
It's messy.
Yeah. I don't want to deal with you.
Yeah.
You know.
So, Lou, if people would like to know more about restorative justice, is there somewhere that they can go to learn more about it?
Well, there's always Google, Carrie. Yes.
I actually did see there's a new website called restorativejustice.org,
Yes.
and they have
Yes.
a lot of good
They have a lot of things. Ted Wachtel, who's the man that I trained with back in the 90s and who actually brought this over from Australia, actually has a graduate program. It's the International Institute for Restorative Practices, IIRP. That may be, their website might be that one you just quoted, but there's a lot of information on there. There are conferences. That would be a good starting place for people.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So I will post some of that information after this. Lou, this has been, I just learned a whole bunch, and I feel more empowered to have a relationship with the people in my community,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
in this house, out of this house. Is there anything else that you'd like to tell the viewers today?
It's just been wonderful to be able to do this and share this with people and remind myself, because it's easy to forget and fall back on what we were all, what surrounds us in our society and what we were raised with,
Yeah.
And to see that there is a way and a language. So it's been really helpful for me to be reminded of it too, and to share it with you and whoever else is out there. So
Awesome. Hey,
beautiful.
Thank you so much. What a great way to start.
Yeah, cool. It was fun. Yeah.
If anyone has more questions, would they be able to contact you? Would I be able to give? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I will share that.
Yeah, probably email is the best way to go. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
I will share that.
All right.
Great. Have a fabulous day. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Carrie.
Until next time.
Yeah, we'll talk soon. Bye.
Okay. Bye.